In those days, Israel had no king. Everyone did as they saw fit. Judges 17:6. Picture, if you will, a time in Old Testament history when the moral compass was as scattered as the 12 tribes of Israel. A time when the lack of centralized authority led to a society where people lived by their own rules. In the midst of this chaos, we meet a Levite from the hill country of Ephraim. This Levite wasn't just any ordinary man, he was a member of the priestly tribe of Levi, tasked with religious duties and responsibilities. But even he wasn't immune to the societal norms of the time. Accompanying him was his concubine, a woman from Bethlehem. In those days, a concubine was considered a secondary wife, often taken for various reasons, including social, economic, or political. This woman, whose name has been lost to history, embarked on a journey with the Levite that would ultimately lead to a horrifying event that shook the nation. Their journey took them to the city of Gibeah, a Benjamite city. As they arrived, the sun was setting, casting long shadows on the city's walls. The streets were busy, yet no one offered them a place to stay. The hospitality that was so valued in their culture was nowhere to be found. Just as the night began to close in, an elderly man returning from his work in the field saw them. Recognizing them as fellow Ephraimites, he offered them hospitality, a safe haven in a foreign city. Little did they know this act of kindness would be a prelude to a night of unimaginable horror. As they settled in for the evening, the city's darker side began to emerge. As they were enjoying themselves, some of the wicked men of the city surrounded the house. Pounding on the door, they shouted to the old man who owned the house, "Bring out the man who came to your house so we can have sex with him." Judges 19:22. The stage was set for a night that would go down as one of the most disturbing in biblical history. The owner of the house went out and said to them, "No, my friends, don't be so vile." Judges 19:23. This plea fell on deaf ears as the townsmen of Gibeah were set on their vile intentions, their hearts hardened by malice. The narrative takes a gut-wrenching turn. To quell the mob, a horrifying decision was made. The concubine, a woman of lesser social standing, was handed over to them, a chilling testament of the value placed on human life and dignity in those dark times. She was thrust into the throng, a sacrificial lamb to the mob's twisted desires, her pleas for mercy, her cries of anguish drowned out by the monstrous roars of the men. It's a gruesome scene that's hard to imagine, yet it's etched in the annals of biblical history, a stark reminder of the depths humanity can sink when it strays from the path of righteousness. The inky blackness of the night was her only shroud, as she was subjected to unimaginable abuse. The once peaceful night in Gibeah was tainted with the echoes of her suffering, a symphony of pain that reverberated through the cold stone walls of the city. The moon and the stars bore silent witness to the atrocity, their light dimmed by the horrific scene unfolding below. Throughout the night, the concubine endured, each passing hour a testament to her strength, her resilience. Yet even the strongest of spirits can be broken, and as the first rays of dawn pierced the night sky, her strength finally gave way. At dawn, the woman came and fell down at the entrance of the man's house where her master was, until it was light. Judges 19:26. Her life ebbed away on the cold stone threshold, a tragic end to a horrifying night. Her body, broken and battered, bore the physical marks of her ordeal, a silent testament to the inhumanity she had suffered. This story is a stark reminder of the importance of respect for human life and dignity, a lesson that continues to resonate even in our modern times. When her master got up in the morning and opened the door of the house and stepped out to continue on his way, there lay his concubine, fallen in the doorway of the house, with her hands on the threshold. This is the chilling declaration from Judges 19:27. It marks the dawn of a horrifying day for the Levite, the day he found his concubine lifeless at his doorstep. Shocked and likely filled with remorse, the Levite was confronted with the gruesome aftermath of the previous night's horrors. Unable or unwilling to accept the full weight of his actions, he chose an unthinkable course. In a scene that remains one of the most disturbing in the Bible, the Levite took a knife and dismembered his concubine's body into 12 pieces. This act was not just a horrific display of violence, but it served a purpose in the Levite's mind. He sent each piece to the 12 tribes of Israel, a macabre message meant to rally the nation against the men of Gibeah. This was a call to arms, a demand for justice wrapped in the bloodied remains of an innocent woman. The Levites' actions sparked shock and outrage across the land. The tribes of Israel were appalled by the depths of depravity that had been reached. It was an act of violence that shattered the peace and demanded a response. The people of Israel were forced to confront not just the brutality of the men of Gibeah, but also the moral decay that had allowed such a crime to happen. This story, as grotesque as it is, serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of unchecked sin. It speaks to us about the importance of moral vigilance, of standing against injustice, and of the corrosive effects of turning a blind eye to evil. Everyone who saw it was saying to one another, "Such a thing has never been seen or done, not since the day the Israelites came up out of Egypt. Just imagine, we must do something, so speak up." These were the words from Judges 19:30. The call for action was clear, and the seeds of change were sown in the most gruesome of ways. Then all the people rose as one man, saying, "None of us will go to his tent, and none of us will return to his house." Judges 28. These words, my friends, mark the beginning of a new chapter in the story of the Levite and the concubine, a chapter that was drenched in the raw emotions of a nation united in their outrage. In the wake of the horrific incident in Gibeah, a wave of shock and anger swept through the land of Israel. The people were appalled, their hearts heavy with the weight of the unspeakable act committed against the woman. This was not just a crime against one woman, but a disgrace to their entire nation, a violation of the moral codes they held dear. And so, they rallied. They came together united in their resolve to not let this atrocity go unanswered. From every corner of Israel, men rose, their faces set with grim determination. They were a nation, a collective body, and they would not stand for such an affront to their values. This unity of purpose led to a civil unrest, a war against the tribe of Benjamin, the tribe from which the culprits hailed. It was a harsh response indeed, but it was a testament to the strength of their unity and their commitment to justice. And yet the tragedy of the Levite and the concubine also brought to light the deep-seated issues within their society, the need for a stronger moral compass. It was a wake-up call, a call to action, to strive for a more just and respectful society. So the men of Israel took an oath at Mizpah, "None of us will give his daughter in marriage to a Benjaminite." Judges 21:1. This oath, taken in the aftermath of the horror, was a symbolic gesture, a pledge to uphold their moral values and to protect their kin. It was a promise to ensure that the atrocities of Gibeah would never be repeated. It was their call to action, a call we too must heed, to create a world that respects and values all its inhabitants. In those days there was no king in Israel. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes. Judges 21:25. This statement encapsulates the essence of the story of the Levite and the concubine, a chilling narrative marked by violence and societal decay. The tale we've dissected is disturbing, yet it serves as a potent reminder of the importance of justice and respect for human life. The Levite, rather than protecting his concubine, offered her to a mob, an act that resulted in her brutal demise. This travesty of justice highlights the dangers of moral relativism, of everyone doing what is right in their own eyes without a shared moral compass. In the absence of a king, Israel was a society in chaos, spiraling into violence and moral decay. The dismemberment of the concubine's body, a horrifying act of desecration, symbolizes this disintegration. It's a grim warning of the consequences when societal norms and values are abandoned, when the respect for human life is lost. The call to action that follows, the uniting of the tribes of Israel to bring about justice, underscores the need for strong moral leadership. It's a rallying cry, a call for unification against the forces of chaos and lawlessness. It's a lesson that resonates even today in our modern societies that are often divided along various lines. The story of the Levite and the concubine is a stark reminder of the need for societal cohesion and the dangers of moral relativism. It's a call for justice, respect for human life, and strong moral leadership. It's a testament to the need for us to come together as a society, to uphold our shared values, and to stand against violence and injustice. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. It's a small gesture, but one greatly appreciated. Become a part of our growing family and subscribe to our channel. May God bless you and all your endeavors. Thank you for watching.